Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Facts on the Ground. I'm Misty Winston, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jesse Zerwell. And today I'm very excited. We have the one and only independent video beast with us. We have Matt Orfalea. He just got himself into some trouble on Twitter. There's going to be some Twitter beef. We're going to be talking about it, digging in. If you've ever heard of the KHive, which if you're watching the show, I'm sure that you have, this is going to get interesting. So Matt, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Misty and Jesse. And,
Yeah.
I'm not the only, I appreciate, the compliment, the video beast, but I'm not the only independent video beast. You guys are video beasts. Nothing better, no better sources than independent video beasts.
Yes, agreed. Please, for the love of God, support independent media, people. I don't know if it's ever been more apparent. Sorry to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but I don't know if it's ever been more apparent that we need to support independent media. Do you see what's happening around you? They need backed up. First of all, they're getting attacked by cops at protests and tracked now. So yeah, we need to support independent media however you can. Clicks, subscribes, donations, whatever you can do it. Pick somebody. Doesn't have to be me. Pick somebody you like. Go support them. We need it. Definitely. Propaganda's getting thick. Anyways, so let's dig into some beef.
I second that emotion.
Yeah, let's dig into some beef. Okay, so what made you even want to dive into this, first of all? Because anybody that follows, political Twitter knows that going after the quote unquote KHive is an interesting thing because they're really annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a target for attacks anyway, so I don't give a fuck. And being independent, I don't give a fuck. Like if I'm like working with other people, that's another thing independent's good is if I'm working for someone else, then I'm like, oh, I don't want to get them dragged into shit. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just myself. So although it was published in the gray zone, but I don't work for the gray zone. They just published it. So, okay. What
Gray
made me
zone's never afraid to stir up some shit.
Yeah. That's true.
Max is actually the reason we have this show.
That's
a
true story.
I started it myself and just did a few episodes, and Max was one of the early guests, and then Misty was too. And he saw that episode and thought we had a good rapport and suggested that we team up. And
oh wow,
the rest is history.
Yeah.
Jesus,
true story.
All right,
there you have it. Origin story.
Yeah. And I got another origin story for you. So the KHive origin story, the way I dove into it is it really was that recent LA Times article. I was like, okay, this is total bullshit. Originally the bullshit detector was going off because I saw how they covered Bernie Sanders online support. They called it abusive behavior. They just cast blame on Bernie Sanders. And this was completely different. They were, basically, promoting these people as like really respectable, admirable, truth seekers, truth tellers. So when I saw truth, I was like, oh my God. Then I just out of curiosity, I had not dove into the KHive really before. And I just the first name they or handle that they quoted, I just searched it in Twitter, so let's see what else. And I'm blocked. This is a person I've never interacted with before in my life, never even knew they existed, never knew their name, never spoke of them, and I'm blocked by them. So that, that's always a good red flag. That
the KHive is omniscient.
So, so I just did a little more digging and eventually, I see the KHive talking about their founder, Bianca Della Rosa. Now, let me say, so while I hadn't dove in before, actually, one of the places I started was I had a snapshot. I had taken a screenshot of this person, Della Rosa, just randomly before. She was glorifying violence. I could see she was a KHive account. This was maybe 2020. And so I went back to that
How is she glorifying violence?
She said she wants to, I'll give you a direct quote. Quote, gotta kill very violently, like actually killing people for not agreeing. So that's a little more
totally normal. That's like totally normal behavior.
Yeah. And that's also a little less ambiguous than Donald Trump saying that he's not going to the inauguration.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's you can't get more like it's
yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean,
I guess the only way you could be more straightforward than that is to say, I'm going to kill people.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah. well, the only way you get, she basically said, gotta kill very violently. If you had like a date in a location, that might be,
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would definitely add to the
help. Yeah.
urgency, I think.
And okay, so I searched hers, and I saw KHive themselves credited this person with as the founder of KHive.
So weird. That's so weird that that's even like a thing you would brag about.
Yes. And I mean, it goes back to 2017 even. This is before Kamala, was running. They were fanning for her, standing for her. That's when she's credited, and it's not just it's not just coming from me. Fucking Vox said that KHive considered her a founder. Now they didn't go into who the fuck she was, but they mentioned her, that KHive founder is a founder. Bustle, same thing, and then the biggest is Reese Colbert, who the Times themselves credits as one of the most prominent supporters, one of the most prominent members of KHive, and she considers De La Rosa the founder. She says she created KHive on CNN pundit Bakari Sellers' podcast. Okay. And this is the poster child of KHive, Reese Colbert. She's been in every article on KHive. She's their go-to source. She is KHive's poster child, and she admits the first time she saw KHive was from Bianca De La Rosa. That's the founder. So we have Bianca De La Rosa. She's expressed a lot of bigotry, and
KHive is awful. Let's just be honest.
For violence.
KHive is awful. Yeah. They're terrible. They are abusive.
Yeah.
They're like wretched human beings. Whoever runs all these accounts, really, and like I don't think that's being overly dramatic. They really they try to get somebody's kids taken away.
Yes.
You're stepping over a line. You're stepping over a line, and now I have problems. Like that's not okay. You don't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're horrible people. So let's just put it out there. So that that's the kind of things that they do.
And and the founder in particular. That's why now if you're doing a piece on a group, on an online group, a big fan club, you might start with the founder, or the group considers the founder. But they don't do that. And we know why now. And they also, go ahead.
Matt, do they keep the fact that she's the founder and the leader and the figurehead, so to speak? Do they keep that nebulous? And if so, do you think they do so on purpose?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I believe, so I said Vox mentioned it. Good for them. They and even that she started KHive in a Facebook group in 2017. But LA Times, they didn't mention it at all.
Mm-hmm.
At all. And while Vox, like I said, Vox, Bustle, Yahoo, maybe not Yahoo, they mention her but they don't talk about who she is or what she's done. Mm-hmm. Or the fact that she's been suspended, had her Twitter account suspended several times. In the article, I cited at least 3 Twitter accounts that were suspended for violations, including abuse and harassment. And after I published the article, I found 4 more. 4 more accounts.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter. Yeah.
That's it. So there's 12. She has at least 12 total accounts that she's used to circumvent the Twitter bans
for abuse. Like this is not.
Yes.
Like
yes.
like she
And-
got kicked off for,
yes.
you know, because she's a right winger or she's a conspiracy theorist or QAnon or whatever. No, for being an abusive ass, you
Yes.
know? Yeah.
And glorifying violence more than any Donald Trump tweet.
That's
so-
not okay.
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
here's the thing is I'm not like excited to like say, all right, like people should be banned for being mean on Twitter.
No, but just
I've never
knock it
been that person.
off.
I've never been that person. But the reason I felt the need to report this is because the LA Times leaves all this out.
Mhm.
It's and there's a
Which
clear,
is weird.
Yeah, so there's a clear double standard when the LA Times is a lapdog for Kamala Harris
Mhm.
And
most of the media.
and if she means it with the kill tweet, then that's not something that should be on Twitter. That's an incitement to violence. And if she doesn't mean it, then don't put it out there as something that people are going to be confused about whether you mean what you're saying or not. It's dangerous either
Yeah,
way.
there's already
And I
laws for
don't-
that. Like you need to be
Yes.
just like be a grown up. Stop saying crazy shit like that. Like that shouldn't be that complicated. You don't talk about going around and killing people. It's just not a cool thing to do. You know,
Okay.
like that's ridiculous. I mean, there are like, come on, jokes. Okay, like there are some funny jokes about, you know, I'm a true crime nerd. There's plenty of like weird, crazy true crime jokes and all that good stuff. But like seriously talking about killing people, that's not something that like a rational human being does. Knock it off. You know, not hard. It's really not.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically how I dove in, and then I saw so there's an old report in 2018 that discovered a bot farm ran by Democratic Party communications consultant Sally Albright.
Sally Albright.
And
man, there was a
yeah.
time where like every 4 accounts was Sally Albright, I think. Like, you know what I mean? 1 out of every 4 accounts was a Sally account.
But I let me just finish. Like I wanted to the purpose of this is to show the hypocrisy, not just with the coverage between like Bernie's online supporters versus Kamala supporters, but Twitter's hypocrisy.
Mhm.
So, they made a whole announcement about banning QAnon accounts for these same abuses that KHive has been repeatedly, doing.
Don't they usually just get them for misinformation or whatever?
No,
Are they
yeah.
I've never dealt with a lot of Q people. Are they abusive like KHive is?
Well, that was Twitter's reasoning. Was the main thing was that but primarily spamming and using multiple accounts to circumvent Twitter bans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that part for sure.
Which is which is a form of spamming and so that's what they're. I mean, De La Rosa alone had 12 accounts and has had at least 7 suspensions.
Yeah, with regard to QAnon, there's a bill going through Congress right now, which I think AOC is very enthusiastic about, but it's to officially condemn QAnon as some sort of
threat
disruptive entity. Yeah. So I guess that's what she's been working on.
Oh wait, that's not fair. She's also going to get instead of Medicare for all, we're getting funerals for some. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fine, guys. Everything's great right now. Everything's going swell.
Yeah, $9,000.
If you qualify.
Yeah, if you're dead enough.
I think you have to pay for it and then get reimbursed. So that's cool too. You still got to pay out of pocket and then hope you get reimbursed. But it's fine. Everything's going great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Building back better.
Yeah. So much goodness. All right. So let's talk about how big this bot network is. Because these things are massive. I remember dealing with the Hill bots. And the Sally Albright, listen, we got to give her some credit. She's great at being a whatever that is. Bot wrangler, maybe. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah. I mean,
she must be super proud.
A troll farmer, basically.
Yeah, troll farmer. I like it. I could be down with that. Farmer Sally. I like it. It's cute. We should get her a hat.
And it really does go back to Clinton's run, actually.
Yes.
So,
well, really, it goes back to Obama, because he really like revolutionized using the internet for politics. He didn't have a whole, like, I don't think he understood like trolls and bots and all that stuff, but just using it for propaganda. Because he was really kind of the first president that had like that
social
kind of
media presence.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just now starting to like become a thing. And so he was really good at like utilizing it first. But as far as like the trolls and the bots and stuff, definitely that started with Clinton, like Neera Tanden and Sally Albright. Like they're like the pioneers of awful on the internet. So good job, girls. Way to go. So how big?
It's just
the KHive?
it's big, and I know I can't give you an exact number. But it's funny because Sally exposed herself with screenshots.
She always does.
she was looking for technical help from Buffer, which was the third-party software that allowed her to do this. Buffer, by the way, even acknowledged that she was, not using the software as it's supposed to be used. And even after Buffer acknowledged that, Sally Albright was still on Twitter, until when was it? I think the end of 2020. So just the end of the election. So she got to operate through the whole fucking election. It's just incredible. And I hear she's still online.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So just
but yeah, like she's the kind of person who was smearing Bernie Sanders, all of Bernie Sanders supporters, as racist.
Yes.
In January of 2018. These are people who are just really awful.
They're lie artists.
So
they're smear artists.
Smear campaigns.
Yeah.
All the response I've gotten from KHive, I've got a lot of positive response.
As abuse, I guarantee it.
But the negative response is it's literally like nobody is disputing any fact.
No.
The fact
is insults.
The fact is the KHive leaders were propped up by fake Twitter accounts, an army of fake Twitter accounts. It's a fact, and it's a verifiable fact. And so all they come back with is you're racist. And what's really weird is a lot of them say like, this is the kind of white progressivism racism that nobody asked for. So I've had like that repeatedly sent from multiple accounts. So that tells me, makes me think like it's just some weird like attack talking point thing. And this shows that this group is obviously, they're geared just to take down progressives, because my fucking article had nothing to do with progressivism. It was just calling out KHive, exploring their sketchy as fuck origins, and their shitty behavior. Had nothing. And yet their attack is, he's a white progressive racist. What? So ad hominem attack. Yeah, when you all you get is ad hominem attacks. That's how you know they got.
And just like overly dramatic bullshit. Like you got like people telling Bernie Sanders to jump in a coffin. I'm no fan of Bernie Sanders, but there's no need to tell him to jump into a coffin. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like they just go so, I mean, and listen, I'm not asking for them to be like censored. Like you have a right to say that shit. I'm just saying, don't be a dick. It's not that hard. You can still be confrontational and demanding of elected officials without being abusive. Try some snark on for size. It's not that hard. Like threatening people's not necessary. It's just not.
Yeah. I've probably tweeted at AOC critically several dozen times, and never once have I threatened violence or said something about her that wasn't factual, other than the few tweets I did where I was like AOC equals, and then I'd make up another sort of trio for what the acronym stands for, usually in a snarky way. But yeah, I've never attacked her character or her.
I've attacked her character probably.
Well,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think
that's fair.
I'm saying not in a trivial sense.
No, but like
in a political sense.
Dying,
In a political sense, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if the image, if the fake image of KHive were true, if they really did care about truth and truth telling and and debunking lies, which is the image that
They'd
is
support
was
Julian
presented
Assange,
by
first
the
of
LA
all.
Times, I'd be fine with that. But that's not what it is. It's literally, it's just you're racist, white supremacist if you disagree with us. And at the most extreme, we have to kill people who disagree with us.
Yeah.
Unambiguous tweet there, folks. And yeah, like you
And
said,
she got 0 delegates. Can we just say that out loud?
Yes.
She got, so these people are not, this is not real support for Kamala Harris. This isn't real support. This is manufactured support. She got 0 delegates. She couldn't even, like, she had to drop out because she didn't want to be embarrassed in her home state, because she was going to be embarrassed in her home state.
Yeah.
She should already be embarrassed in her home
Tulsi
state.
Gabbard destroyed her. But then Anderson Cooper like rubbed her face in it for the next 15 minutes, which was seriously the best thing. I will say this for the rest of my life. That was the best thing Anderson Cooper had ever done, ever. Like, that's it. Like, that will be what I would remember him for always. Like, that's it. Because it was amazing. I don't know if you guys remember that after the debate.
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
What
So
was
after
Anderson Cooper's role, yeah.
Okay, so after the debate, he was hosting like the after debate
alley
thing, the spin room.
Yeah.
And so he had her sit down and he made her watch it back.
Oh, that's right.
Live.
And let her comment, yeah.
And made her comment. And she was so pissed and so uncomfortable. And that's when she did that whole, well, I know that I'm a top tier candidate. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. The fact that he did that and made her watch it back was that. Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
But
it was great.
Listen to that language too. A top tier candidate.
Yeah.
They give themselves away right there that this
Mhm.
is a hierarchy, and people like us are at the bottom of it.
Well, there's like a why can't I think of an audition tape? There's a Kamala Harris audition tape somewhere where she's like auditioning to be a presidential candidate.
What?
Really? Yeah, like, well, I mean, I don't know if it's really that's what it is, but it's an audition.
Effectively that, I'd like to see. That sounds funny. I know. I'd like to see what that is.
But seriously, that's what it is. The president isn't really a president. It's just like a face. It's the actor who is like pretending to be in control of the agenda, but it is not the president. You guys really think that there's not like mechanisms behind the scenes that are in control? Of course there are. That's why when there's a different president, nothing really changes. It's the same agenda. Joe Biden's no different than Donald Trump. It's the same shit. We're illegally bombing Syria. We're trying coups all over the damn place. We still have kids in cages, more kids in cages, like in a ridiculous amount of kids in cages. We're deporting more people than ever. Like, there's no difference. It's the same agenda. It's just a different face. It's literally Weekend at Bernie's.
Well, and it's because, we knew Joe Biden wasn't going to change anything, but it's because, the power structure is corrupting. It's inherently corrupting. And that's why,
that's why you can't vote your way out of it. It's like to its core.
Well, I think theoretically, highly unlikely, maybe, close to impossible because of human nature, the corruptibility of human nature. But it's possible if AOC, actually, followed through with her promises.
Come on, Matt.
No, I'm saying it's if she could have done it. We can't say like,
or at least
you guys don't get, you don't give her a pass.
No,
like,
I'm saying we should definitely try.
She's corrupt. This system's corrupted, so of course she has to be corrupted.
If we do that, there's going to be a fight, and that's it's like they're not going to just be like, oh, okay, you guys are standing up. No, that's not going to be how that goes down. And so it's gonna have to be like sustained, and that's hard. And I don't know if that's ever really going to happen. But some people, since we're talking about I don't know how I got off on this.
Well, I don't know either. But since we're on it, I'd like to mention something that I think people don't really. I don't talk about it with AOC's corruption and all. And corruption is a general term, but so everyone's understandably and correctly upset that she did not force the vote or support force the vote. I should correct myself. Not everyone is upset, unfortunately, but a lot of
Yeah.
people are.
He hasn't done anything.
People are
really.
paying attention. But why do you guys think so? Yeah, well, what's your guys' explanation?
Why do I think she's not doing anything? Because
Yeah, why didn't she do it? Why didn't she do it?
I'm honestly not convinced she was ever there to do it.
Okay.
I mean, this is somebody who interned for Ted Kennedy. This is somebody she knows the political system. She knew what she was getting herself into. I think that and I'm not saying that that's for sure, but I don't put it past her. That's a lot of people do that all over the place. They kind of groom themselves into that position, and they know how to say the right words. Maybe she had good intentions at first. Maybe she didn't. I don't know.
And then what happened?
I know for sure that now she has been absorbed into DC 100%. Whether she started good intentions or not, she is one. There's no questioning it whatsoever. This is somebody who ran on Medicare for all, Palestinian rights, Medicare or $15 an hour. She ran on all this stuff, and she told us first she starts backing off of Palestinian rights and anything else that's any remotely touchy or controversial. She starts placating AIPAC.
People need to watch that. People need to watch that walk back of her advocacy for Palestinian rights. It was on Margaret Hoover's show on PBS. I believe it called
came off of her
Firing Line.
website.
And it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic and cowardly and ill-lettered and a lie. There's a lie in there too, in that she says, I'm not the expert at geopolitics here.
That's bullshit.
So maybe this doesn't make her an expert, but she has a degree in international relations from Boston.
So she's not an idiot.
From Boston University.
Yeah,
so
she's not an idiot. She's not an idiot.
And you can't run on that stuff and then be like, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Bullshit. You ran on it. So stand the fuck up for what you said you were going to stand the fuck up for. She doesn't do that on anything.
I gave up on her when she walked back on Palestinian self-determination. I just thought,
and that was fast. That was so fast. She immediately started walking stuff back, taking stuff off of her Twitter bio, taking stuff off of her website. Then it was like a slippery slope downhill.
The way she tried to verbalize it was like somebody who was just learning to speak. It was she does that a lot too. Embarrassing, yeah. And I said, to hell with her. What does she have to offer? She's like an Obama style sellout, but she's already showing her hand like this early. Like this was right after she won in 2018.
To me, somebody who pretends to be my ally and then actively works against my interests is more dangerous than somebody who straight up tells me they're coming for me. That's I don't trust that at all. And she does that all the time. It's no different than after force the vote. First of all, I can't do force the vote because $15 an hour is more doable. Her word, not mine. It's more doable. Then it comes time to fight for $15 an hour. And was there a fight? No, there was a tepid debate, not even a debate, a tepid conversation where there was a little bit of a whisper about that maybe happening. Boom, gone, off the table, no fight put up whatsoever. And she sold the fuck out again after telling you we can't do force the vote, despite the fact that we have an amazing amount of leverage right now. If we really do want to do something, if we're really all about what we say we're all about, we could make this happen. At least exert some pressure and some power and show that we're not fucking around. And instead, no, they give up and they sell you out, and then people defend them. And it's crazy to me. Yeah. No, somebody said, what about Marjorie? Is it Green Taylor or Taylor Green? I can never remember. Marjorie, the kind of crazy lady, Marjorie Taylor Green or whatever.
There's a lot of crazy
what
ladies.
About her? Why don't you get mad at her? She didn't promise me anything. She's not pretending to be my ally. She didn't tell me she was going to fight for Medicare for all. She didn't tell me she was going to fight for $15 an hour. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the squad.
Is she the one with the funky hair who?
I don't know. I don't like politicians. Who's
supporting the coup?
I think she's the CrossFit one.
The attempted coup in Venezuela. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of them that support
that. Yes, but that's I mean, I don't know what people are expecting from AOC. She's not your friend. She doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
just let it go.
When people, I think part of people's, what prevents some people from understanding is but she ran specifically on, not taking any corporate money.
And she says nice words.
Yeah.
And she's pretty and she's friendly and she's charming and, that sells a lot of people.
I mean, Jimmy Dore and everybody points out that, and I think you just did too, so what if you say this, and it doesn't mean anything. But even in the case of, not taking corporate money, I don't know if that's even the case now. But she made some kind of vow like that, and so even if you don't take big money,
she gets donations from Nancy Pelosi. So
yeah. So I don't think that's really not the case. But even if it were, what people don't understand is you don't need to take money for the system to corrupt you, because all you need is the threat of money being used against you.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody talks about the military industrial complex, which is huge. The healthcare industry is about 5 times the size of the military industry. So that's a lot of money. So you need to have courage to stand up against that. And she doesn't.
Yeah,
have
because
the
they
courage.
will come for you. That's
Same
what I'm
thing
saying.
with the
Look
Israel
at what
lobby.
these people are doing. Yeah. Look at this KHive. They'll come for you. They will try to destroy your life. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, these people are vile, vicious creatures. Like, they'll try to get people to commit suicide. Like, they will 100% go to any length necessary to shut you down, to destroy you, to keep you out of being a threat to them. Real talk.
And I mean, to
shit
try
from me.
Like, yeah, they'll say all this shit about you, and they'll use fake Twitter accounts to put it out, to make it, seem like
it's bigger than it is.
It's bigger than it is, or that it's actually even real people with that these are actually real, and genuine opinions when it's not.
Over and over and over again, hoping that if they just repeat it more, then more and more people will see it, and then it just becomes like part of consciousness, because they depend very much on the idiocy of the people who follow them. But yeah, it's very much this hive mentality. KHive is perfect because it really is. It's like people just want to hate other people. And so like they'll believe, like they'll jump onto this team mentality for this crazy ass cult of personality politician nonsense. And they let it like completely disrupt their humanity, and it's absurd. It is absurd to be like attacking people over politicians. Like, politicians do not care about you. Why are you going to battle for them? They do not care about you.
And the fucked up thing is just so people understand, it's not always just fake accounts. In the case of this, they had fake accounts, but they were used to boost real people who were outwardly hateful and racist.
Yes.
I mean, everybody, they literally use white as an insult, and everybody's a white supremacist. So they're promoting this hate. I just think about how messed up that is. Oh, and it's actually interesting. It just occurred to me now. So Donald Trump gets a lot of shit, rightly so, for fanning flames, stoking, some of the
both sides do that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Both sides do. If you think the Democrats don't do that, you're fucking crazy. Of course they do.
Yeah. Now,
oh my God.
Typically it's hate against Trump supporters, like they're deplorables, they're less than human. And in this case, they're, demeaning progressives, white progressives, as all racist.
Well, and they'll also use racism, like they'll incite racism so that they can then justify the hate against Trump supporters. It's like this crazy circle of just like constant division. Like they just want you to hate each other. So they just work with each other to constantly be smearing each. It's like just, you know what I'm saying? It's like high school. It really is like high school. And like there's you and your friends are having a fight, and so like your friends are telling bullshit about their friend. You know what I mean? Like it's this whole, that's what it is. It's this infantile little game to get people to hate each other, so that we're not paying attention to the fact that they're fucking everybody over.
I just don't pay attention to any of them anymore. I don't look at my notifications.
He's never on Twitter.
That's
Twitter.
Good. That's good.
Well, I am when
sometimes, but it's
it's not as much as
me.
Yeah. But
listen, Twitter's a tool. I mean, that's all it is.
I appreciate everybody who has something good to say and who stands in solidarity with what we're trying to do with the show. the show is the show, and everything I have to say is there.
There you
And
go. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I block myself regularly from Twitter and social media so that I can do YouTube videos, so that I can work on YouTube videos, because that's, or write, but it's mostly YouTube videos. Because yeah, like you said, like why put yourself in like a hell site when you don't need to do
Well,
that to get your
you
message
can
out?
also use it like
Unfortunately, you
I
do.
use it for Assange stuff a lot. So I mean that it is effective
I
for stuff
understand.
like
It's true.
that.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So I mean
But
there's like I have
yeah,
like a
go ahead.
love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah, you can't let it suck you in to the
Mm-mm.
point where you're not actually being productive and working. You're just being distracted and getting in fights with fake Twitter accounts.
yeah,
Right.
Which
I
is
rarely
certainly part of the reasoning behind it. It's distraction.
right.
It's
yes.
um
Sometimes it's fun
interference.
though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun. Like today I had a fun one. I was in a bad mood. I've had a headache all day, so I was really grumpy. And so, sometimes it's fun. It's like, if you want to come and lie and smear, I'm going to like go after it. Like we're gonna have a conversation. And that sometimes it's just like a stress release to push back because you can
That's
only take so
good.
much
No, see, that's
bullshit,
so good. Like, and
you
that's
know?
probably why you're so good at Twitter. That's why you get, all those tweets on the Jimmy Dore show. It's because for a lot of people, like I know,
Everybody
it's
always says
it,
that.
it's not stress relief. Like what it's stress inducing,
Oh, see, for me, Twitter is stress release.
That's
Like
great.
it's
Yeah.
like I'm able to, because um, it's hard for me to be able to get like I can just get it all out with people that
Mhm.
understand what I'm talking about, and so yeah, it's much more. And I don't really engage with a lot of trolls. Every once in a while, it's fun because I'm in a bad mood, and they're terrible people anyway, so I don't feel bad about it. And then there are some that are just kind of funny. And we're in the middle of a lockdown, so it's free entertainment to just like kind of mock some dumb troll.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm just on there to like get shit off my chest and push Assange stuff and free speech stuff and try to get stuff organized. Like we're trying to do a tweet storm. Everybody, if you want to do the tweet storm, it's the 22nd, Thursday, Earth Day, for the why am I blanking? Colonial Pipeline spill. We're trying to work out details, like nailing Robbie down to have like a little brainstorm session is hard because dude's busy. So we're trying to nail down some more details, get some hashtags worked out. But yeah, we should definitely all participate in that because that story is ginormous and nobody's talking about it. So I'm really interested to see what their new numbers are. But anyways,
Watch them go back
okay.
down to like 250,000.
I will laugh my ass off if they even attempt it. Seriously, that's ridiculous. That it would be pretty funny though.
Wait, I don't even know what
okay.
those numbers are referring to.
Okay, so there's this huge pipeline spill in North Carolina, massive. It's like right now, I think Robbie has said it's like potentially the second worst, maybe the worst land spill, that we've seen in the country, I think. But it's big. It's like 1.2 million is what the estimate is now. But they have changed that number. Or sorry, what did I say?
No, I just added gallons because you said 1.2 million.
Yeah, 1.2 million gallons. Sorry. But they started out like 200. What was it, Jesse? Like 234,000.
I think initially they started out at something like 60,000, and then it went up.
Yeah, like maybe 62, and then it went up to like 200 and something, and then it went up again, and then it was like it was like this huge jump to 1.2 million. Right. And now they're saying again that maybe that's not right, and maybe their models aren't even right. So now they got to figure it all out again, and they'll get back to us.
Wow.
And it's just a crazy story. You should definitely take a look at that for sure, because it's not good. Our pipelines are in really bad shape, and they're old and decrepit, and there's little spills everywhere all the time, and it's going to be bad. Like North Carolina is not near any like major waterways, so it's not like a big story, but it should be, because like Robbie said, like if we pay attention now, we can ask for or demand regulations that would require these pipelines to go about really checking these pipelines and making sure that there aren't leaks and cracks and all this other shit that they're not required to check. Like, what is it, like once every 5 years? 40-year-old like these are pipelines that are 40 years old, more than 40 years old.
It's something that doesn't make any sense.
No, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. But here we are. Humans are stupid. Hate it. Hate them.
So Matt, one of the things I wanted to ask you about KHive is how active is Kamala Harris in what they're doing? Does she have any relation to it whatsoever?
Well, the only relation, who knows behind the scenes, but she is on record as like praising them and celebrating them and saying that they're awesome.
She's a narcissist.
Yeah.
I'm sure she loves
no,
it.
but just imagine that. Just imagine if it's the media that it lets her get away with saying like a group is awesome, a group that's known for, targeted harassment, even offline, not just online. It's just they would never let Bernie Sanders do that. And they would always attack him. He wouldn't even say anything about his online supporters, and they're like,
no, he threw his supporters under the bus multiple times.
Well, no,
he said that they were influenced by Russia. He's like all kinds of shit. Dude.
What I mean is they brought it up before he. The only time he commented on it was when the media pressured him.
He agreed with them.
Guilted him shamed him into saying, into condemning his own fucking supporters. So I mean, to be real, and as from a strategy standpoint, that was Bernie. That was not good. And needless to say, and Kamala's probably doing it the right way. Now, if the media was doing their job, it wouldn't be going in Kamala's favor. But because the media is just pushing forward Kamala's narrative and literally defending Kamala, like the way they cover KHive, it's totally defending them. They omit any significant negativity. To the fact that where KHive leaders have literally been, as we said, suspended, which means banned. Twitter says suspended, but it's actually expelled, banned, multiple times for, quote, abusive behavior. Okay, so it's verified abusive behavior. They said Bernie Sanders fans were guilty of abusive behavior. KHive's got verified abusive behavior and literally no mention of abuse in the media from KHive about KHive. It's just pretty amazing.
It is really amazing.
I don't think it's just surprising though.
No, not at all. And this is what we're up against. Like, oh God, here we go again. I'm going to rant. Okay. So this is what we're up against though, because this is narrative management. This is exactly how they're going to do it. They're going to be able to run propaganda and smear campaigns against anybody on the left who's trying to do anything for the people. And the people are going to be, anybody that like a Bernie Sanders is going to get smeared as anti-Semitic despite the fact that he's Jewish, and he's going to get called a Russian bot, and they're going to get away with it. And they're going to be allowed to have these bot
He's a self-hating Jew.
And he's a racist, despite the fact that he got arrested protesting housing discrimination.
And that person will just put up with it, and that's where we're headed. We are headed to the psychopaths in charge having complete narrative control. They are going to control reality entirely. Like we're losing our ability to push back against this. Seriously, like that's not overly dramatic. I get that it sounds that way. No, it's not. That's where we're headed. Just look around you. Look at the abuse that journalists are getting right now covering protests. They're having their pictures and their faces photographed, and they're being tracked on an app. That's not normal. That's fucked up. Like that's where we're headed. Like I've been screaming about it for years, and just please, for the love of God, pay attention. Like that is where we're headed. They are going to control they already kind of do. I mean, what is it? Like 90% of our media is controlled by like 5 or 6 companies. They already control almost everything that you hear, see, read, can think about. It's ridiculous. And it's only getting worse. And that's part of it. This is all part of it. These Twitter bots, like they're going to be allowed to do this. You're not going to be allowed to push back. They're going to ban everybody who does push back off of Twitter. It'll become an echo chamber of awfulness. And they're going to push out whatever reality they want to push out.
Matt, how often do you have to put up with KHive's bullshit?
I mean, I get shit all the time, but
From everybody though. You get shit from everybody.
yeah, and
Yeah, I do
that's
too.
partly because honestly, you could call it a problem. It's maybe, you could see it as a problem, where like my thing is when I see misinformation, I want to correct it for people. And
Right.
so, and I fought back against the misinformation against Bernie Sanders. And just to give an example, like a recent example, I am not a defender of Kyle Rittenhouse. However, I made a video dispelling some of the misinformation about that case.
Of which there is some.
Yes. and
See-
so so when you do that, now it it's just I can't help it. Like that's what gets me is people being lied to and misinformed and spreading bullshit, and that just gets to me. Like that's my thing and that's why I call myself an independent video beast. And when you do that, it's hard to grow. It's harder to grow a group, a support base, because you put down one video that everyone loves, and then the next video is something that just blows their preconceived notions out of the water, and then so it's tough. But
I think it's it's intellectual consistency, and I think it's rare. And I'm not saying like I'm perfect, but I totally get where you're coming from, because there are many things that I don't act reactionary to, and think that I have to think a certain way because other people think a certain way. And so I think it's just like I want to look at every event individually. So I totally relate to what you're saying, because it's not, I don't carry in like some kind of because there are like the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. Of course there's misinformation. Are you really just like, you're just going to pretend that all of a sudden mainstream media is just telling you the truth after knowing like 5 seconds ago, this person would be mainstream media is crazy. They're not telling the truth. Look at how they treated Bernie Sanders. And then Kyle Rittenhouse comes along and there's media coverage, and then somebody questions it and they're like, how dare you question the media? What? Of course it's not the whole story. Really? No, I never trust CNN for that. Like my jumping off point is they're lying to me, and then I go from there. So it's okay to question that shit. Like you shouldn't get
that's
attacked for that.
That's the amazing thing, Missy, is I literally, like, just one example that just kind of stuck with me was I just thought it was so fucked up. I mean, I didn't stop. I mean, in fact, when I got the response I did for just asking, what people's thoughts were, I was like, so I did a poll. Is it self-defense if you shoot somebody? So if a crowd of people are chasing after you, some people have a gun.
Oh, I remember people freaking out about this.
And everybody said, some people said, yeah, that's self-defense. And then I said, all right, how's that different from or then I said Kyle Rittenhouse case, self-defense or attack. So basically, and they're not totally the same. In order for me to put down all the details behind all of them, there's not enough. I couldn't fill all. So, all the details from the case in a fucking tweet. But anyway, regardless, I'd literally just asked the question. And I didn't say I support anybody.
You're not allowed to do that.
I was literally just starting to look into the case myself, just absolutely starting. And I just asked the question. And the responses I got were so weak and, hateful. But then when I asked, like, so why are you hating on me? Why are you calling me racist just for asking this question? And when nobody had a good response, that's when I looked into it myself deeper. And luckily in that case, what's interesting.
I haven't really looked into that, but I mean, I kind of know the basics.
Well, what's really interesting is you've got so much raw footage of it all. And that's very rare. And it's just surprising to me with all this raw footage, there's still all this misinformation. And because they didn't always play it all. They didn't always explain it like clearly in the media. And YouTube, what do? They've directly disincentivized people from showing that material.
Right. Well, and here, let me just blow everybody's mind even just a little bit further. There's so much raw material. Why is that? Like maybe we should start questioning why there's so much raw material and why this situation happened when it did. And like all of those things are okay to question. That doesn't make somebody a conspiracy theorist. That just means somebody's looking at all the possible angles. And y'all, I don't know if you know this, but your government is capable of just about anything. They will do anything. They like we I don't think anybody should have to be told that. You know, they hired some ambassador's daughter to come lie to Congress about incubator babies. You know, and she gave this tearful performance about how she saw these babies ripped from their incubators and thrown to the ground. And I mean, they did that to lie you into a war. They will do anything. So it's okay to question literally everything. That is okay. Like, that's fine. Look into it, observe it, report on it, talk about it. Like, that should all be acceptable. And like, it's amazing to me how pissed off people get about certain subjects. And these are otherwise intelligent human beings who know that you cannot trust anything that they are feeding you. Nothing. You have to be willing to look at everything and question it all. And just because, like, say they don't like Donald Trump, it's like, oh, we're Russia gators now. What? Like, what? Really? You're going to buy into obvious propaganda? I mean, this is obvious. And this is somebody who knows better. It's just so frustrating to see people's emotions played like that and otherwise intelligent human beings falling for just nonsense.
And
Question it all of it.
I think the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, if you will, for lack of a better word, it also points to something deeper with regard to self-defense and the morality of self-defense. What constitutes self-defense?
That's a very complicated situation.
And what constitutes necessary violence, which I would say, as I just said many times, self-defense. But as you said, Matt, the narrative here has been spun so many ways. And I think that's, Misty, as you were saying, part of the narrative control is not just spinning one narrative, it's spinning multiple narratives. So
yeah, because they want you mad at each other.
Yeah, and then you're caught in this web of, well, it could go this way, it could go that way, and
they don't care. They just want you not paying attention to them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. It's all distraction. Not that these issues aren't important. So don't come at me thinking like, you know, that's what I'm saying. Obviously not. But they're being used against you as weapons.
Yeah,
to keep you.
And I think it's a really important issue because, as I've said in previous shows, we're going to eventually have to grapple with whether or not we have to use violence against our own government to sustain our self-determination. Look at the monopoly on violence that the government has. Do you think they're ever going to give that up and let us get what we want? It's never going to happen. And I'm not saying that we go start planting bombs anywhere or just start killing members of authority at random or, you know, at all. But I'm saying that people who've been talking about a general strike, which I totally agree with, I think have to realize that if you're going to stick with such a general strike, as I think many people will, the authorities are going to crack down on that violently. And
we have historical reference for that.
We have to be able to defend ourselves. And I won't say what that means because I'm not the authority on that. I mean, I have my own opinions, but
it'll probably be very different for a lot, like for everybody.
Well, see, here's so you're expressing, you know, the fact that that guns and gun control is a complex issue, and we rarely hear a complex debate over guns.
No,
that's the problem. We'll just hear one side, a hyperbolic argument on one side and the other.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how it is with everything, you guys. Like, we can't have a legitimate conversation about anything with any amount of nuance, about anything of importance, because they have got us like polarized. They want you on an extreme so that they can have you fighting amongst yourselves. And the whole time they're stealing from you constantly. Look at how much money the billionaires have brought in during this pandemic while everybody's been losing their houses and their jobs. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, and then they use this bullshit to keep you fighting amongst yourselves, so you're not paying attention to what they're doing to you. And god damn it, it's so annoying because it's so obvious. And we need to stop letting them get away with it. Like, it's so frustrating. We're focused on the wrong goddamn things. Oh, it's so annoying. It really is so annoying. Like, and again, that doesn't mean that these issues aren't important, because they use issues like abortion and race and healthcare and education and issues that are important to everybody. They mean something to everybody, but they're used that what they're using against you isn't really those issues. It's they're using your emotions and your need for those issues against you as weapons to keep you fighting. And it's, you're not going to get any of those things. They're never going to give you any of those things ever. You're going to have to at some point just realize that you have a right to them, and we're going to have to figure out a way to build a society that works like that. Otherwise humanity is doomed, y'all. No question. We let the wrong people get to positions of power. They're psychopaths. They are going to either nuke us all out of existence, or starve us all out of existence, or they're going to kill the air so that we can't breathe anymore. They're nuts. They're not good people. And if we got to figure out a way to keep those people, if we even need positions of power, we need to keep those people away from them. far away.
Well, to put like what we've been talking about together, like just if we ever will want to get anybody like real representation, you need real coalitions. And the media, politics, it polarizes us, and we are becoming more polarized than ever before, as you mentioned. And if it's continuing to grow, and if it continues, you do get violence. That's what happens. That's where it leads to.
But it'll be violence in the wrong way. Like, it'll be
against civil war type violence. Yes. Civil war,
and that's why they do this, because then we're not coming at them. There's more of us than there's of them.
Yeah. The and the thing is, like, you see this civil war type shit. I mean, it's play out, and it played out in Kenosha, and
it's boiling. You can feel it.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because I hate seeing otherwise intelligent people be used like this against each other. Doesn't help anybody. We're not each other's enemies.
Yeah.
The people that are our enemies wear very expensive suits and sit in boardrooms, and they make all of your decisions for you. And you just don't know it. You think you're free. You're told you're free, but somebody else is pulling all of your strings. They're managing you and your life and your family. And
going back to KHive, I would say that that's also a form of psychological manipulation, psyops,
100%.
in a way.
100%.
Yeah, it is.
Because
it's election fraud, or like election meddling, whatever they wanted to call it with Russia. Like, they wanted to blame Russia with their, Bernie memes with, Bernie having the fuchsia leg and abs and all that shit. Really, that changed an election, but this shit didn't?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No, literally.
That
Yeah.
makes no
Fake
sense.
accounts was meddling. Russia, when they're from Russia, allegedly from Russia, that's meddling. Fake accounts from.
But KHive doesn't count. Like, it's fine when we do it to ourselves. American exceptionalism.
But the VP can do it.
Right.
It's not meddling.
It's totally fine. Like, that's normal. Like, we can just see what I mean. Like, that's what they want. They want to be able to blame others for doing the things that they're doing and have complete control over the narrative. And you just do as you're told and shut up, and that's it.
What were you going to say, Jesse? I'm sorry.
Oh, did we cut you off? I do. Sometimes I get like blabbering.
Oh no. Okay.
Sometimes I blabber. So who knows?
No, clearly, everyone watching knows I do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm a ranter. I can't, like, sometimes people have said, sometimes you interrupt your guests, and I'm like, I know I can't help it. Like, it just like, I have verbal diarrhea. I have severe ADHD. I'm not going to blame it on that, but I am kind of going to blame it on that, because I feel like that's part of it. Because my brain, it's like, I can't keep, I don't know. It's a whole thing. Anyway.
I can't keep my brain.
No, I just everything's not like like, it's not fast enough. Sometimes my mouth opens before my brain can tell it to shut up, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's a whole thing, dude. I'm a hot mess is what I'm really trying to say. Yeah. So KHive is shit.
So Matt, where do things stand with it now? I mean, what do you have to put up with? What do you have to
I mean,
look forward
personally, yeah.
to?
Look forward to. I mean, I get ad hominem attacks from anonymous accounts. I mean, big freaking deal. It's not that big a deal to me, honestly.
Right.
But it's it can be a little troubling because just knowing some people are super impressionable and they won't look into it more. So really, all I feel I can do, and the best thing to do, is just to promote some critical thinking skills. Just remind people to have some healthy skepticism, and really remember, like, if you see ad hominem attacks, even if it's in a reputable newspaper headline,
Right.
it can still be bullshit, and it often is bullshit.
Yeah.
If it's just a fucking screenshot of a headline or at basic bullshit ad hominem attacks, like, that's a sign that
Mhm.
this person has nothing to argue with, has no actual argument.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the fact that I'm getting those responses on this article, it's very validating.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
encouraging,
very
actually.
similar behavior to like the people that I have to deal with. They're I guess there's probably a lot of crossover there, but yeah, I mean, this is the same. And what they do is they just keep repeating the same shit over and over and over again about you, and just hope that people will believe it.
Well, and they hope that it'll get to you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I've let it
Yeah.
get to me before.
Yeah, and
But
that's the
yeah.
psyops part I was talking about, the way it will fuck with your psychology if you let it.
Yeah.
Do you think that the KHive has anything to do with Kamala Harris possibly seeking a presidential position?
Well, there's no question. I mean, if she does, KHive's gonna
Oh,
help
God.
her. Well, it's gonna help her as if the narrative continues unchallenged. If the established narrative that there are these great truth tellers that are all real people and it's totally grassroots organic, if that continues, it'll help her. Hope that narrative should not continue because it's false.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
Now, and I want to say this in case I forget, but since we did talk about the dangers of polarization, and that one of the big goals should be to deter polarization, reverse polarization. Hell, if a fucking KHiver, if somebody is actually duped by these fake accounts and they're actually real, and they wanted to talk to me, I'd fucking talk to them. And also, now most of the stuff I dove deep into the fucking KHive, and it's mostly shit and awful and bigotry and hate. But I will never forget one tweet was supporting basic income, and I'm like, I could have a good dialogue with this person. So it was just once. I'm not gonna lie, it was one fucking tweet.
I mean, the problem is that they don't come in good faith. I'll deal with anybody who's coming at me honestly. Real talk. I really will. I will. If you're coming at me in an honest way, in a real way, and you believe the things that you're saying, and it's like a genuine conversation, I'm down. Let's go with that. But if you're coming at me with an agenda and with smears and lies, and you have nothing, you don't care at all what I have to say, and you already you're just gonna throw a tantrum like a baby. I don't have time for that. I really just don't. That's completely unproductive.
Well, that's the thing is I'll often, I mean, it usually is a waste of time. And so I understand why people don't do this, but so someone calls me a racist or a white supremacist for something for an article I wrote that has nothing to do with race. And I'll just say, like, so that has nothing to do with, like, so I mean, what's your issue with the article, like, or what's your evidence, like, what? And there's never a response, just more ad hominem
just more insults.
Yeah. No, but see,
I don't have time for that.
And so it's okay, fine, reveal yourself more and more and more. I'm okay with that. Reveal, and anyway.
Yeah. No.
Well,
and sometimes maybe you get through to somebody.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I have 100%. I have.
It also goes back to the language too. I mean, how are you supposed to respond when somebody calls you a racist or a neo-Nazi or an anti-Semite or a white supremacist. All you can say is, no, I'm not. And also with regard to racism, I think it's a fallacy to say, for anybody to say that I am not racist whatsoever. I
No,
think
I agree with that.
we are anti-racists, and that's what we're fighting for, against racism as much as we can, to dissolve it into oblivion as much as we can. And um yeah, it goes back to the language there too. And it's it's strange to me because you see it from the other side as well. Like uh Nico has been getting attacked.
I love when people call Nico a white supremacist. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So dumb.
it's just this like pandemonium of idiocy coming out of
Well,
Twitter.
that's
It
what they
is.
do though. They will, okay, so within, like, every time I do feel like kicking one of them around, you start a conversation with them and it really is, okay, here's my smear. And then it's easily debunkable or mockable or whatever. And then it's okay, so here's the next one. So it's like, hey, you're an anti-Semite. Hey, you're a genocide denier. Hey, you're a racist. Hey, you're a sexist. Hey, you're a Nazi collaborator. Hey, and it's like they just keep throwing shit at the wall and just hope that something will eventually stick and they'll be able to piss you off enough about something that you'll blow up at them or whatever. And it just, I mean, it's a good way for me to exercise snark. And they're honestly, like, the ones I have to deal with are not very smart. They're not very good at what they do. I deserve better, actually. It's like a little bit offensive. But yeah, like, these people they don't have real intentions. They're not genuine people. And yeah,
It also begs the question, like, how is this your life? How is this what
right? I
you're
would feel
doing with
really
your
awful
life?
about myself if that's what I did with my time.
Yeah. Send ill-lettered troll tweets.
Well, I mean, like, imagine spending your day harassing somebody like Fiorella instead of holding people who have actual power accountable.
Yeah.
Really, that's your life? That's what you do all day long, is stalk a little brown girl from the convo couch who's amazing? That's ridiculous. Do something better with your life, fam.
That's the
Really.
best you can do. That's the best you can do.
Like, I would feel really shitty about myself if that's what I did all day, was attack activists and
Well,
podcasters.
I mean, we know though, and my article is like just the latest proof that really a lot of the times those are sock puppets.
Mm-hmm.
And
there are people with agendas
Yeah.
who run those sock puppets.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a very real thing. It happens. I mean,
Mhm.
it's worth noting.
Yeah, well, because as we've been talking about the KHive, those entities or Twitter cults or whatever you want to call them
I don't know what
are
it is. What
they're
is it?
they're part and parcel of the same field that KHive is in. It's this sort of harassment, distraction,
It's like an
and
industry, really.
and something that, and like a discouragement in a way. And I think they're all, whether they're connected or not directly, I think they all have the same goal in the end, and they're all using very similar means to achieve those ends. And well, I'm wondering for you, where does your social media status stand now? Like, how are you as far as Twitter and the other platforms that you're on?
What do you mean status? Like,
Are you currently suspended or
okay.
Are you
blocked?
getting targeted?
Okay. Well, luckily, I'm not suspended anywhere except, honestly, like, Facebook has almost fallen apart from, like, I can't, like, I find myself not being able to share my own content a lot of time. So I don't spend much time on there. The only place where it's clear though that I'm facing some kind of suppression, some form of suppression, is on YouTube.
Mhm.
And it's in the form of demonetization, 1, age restriction, 2, and what people don't understand about demonetization is, well, one, in its name is, you have limited ads, is what they say, limited ads. So that's already a disincentive to cover anything controversial. But the thing is, in 2017, there was a very extensive study that showed that YouTube they lied because they said that this limited ads, which is, bad in itself, they're like, "Oh, but it won't affect your video's performance. It won't affect the visibility." Do you know what I mean? The
Mhm.
traffic, how it's recommended. That was a lie. The data showed that was a fucking lie.
Mhm.
So it's very likely that that's still the case. And also alarming is what YouTube considers too controversial to be able to be monetized. And some examples, one of the most bogus examples is, I have a video called "How to Defeat Racism." It's literally called "How to Defeat Racism."
Why would you ever
Yeah.
want to do that?
It's called "How to Defeat Racism: 5 Inspirational Stories." And it's 5 stories of people, former bigots who were with the KKK, Nazi groups, and they were converted away from that. They were, rescued from their cults, their hateful cults, and it was done so in a peaceful, nonviolent way. I just made this, when punching Nazis was, it's still popular, but I had just been seeing a lot of like memes about that. So I was like, maybe there's another way. Here's another way, everyone. And so, that was demonetized, too controversial. And I've been waiting for 2 years to get a review on that one, which is
Mhm.
absurd. That's absolutely
Right.
insane. And another recent example, is I also made another video called "Inspiring Voices for Jewish Voices for Peace," inspiring Jewish voices for peace, something to that fact. Like, it's just that clear.
Mhm. With
And
regard to Palestine?
yes, yeah.
Mhm.
And it was just 5 Jewish people who were for peace.
Yeah.
That's so offensive. That's
And
violence,
yeah,
Matt. That's
that-
violence.
That was confirmed by Human Review.
The chutzpah.
Too controversial.
No way. Human review, and they
Human
still
Review.
no.
Not lying.
No.
Yep. Human Review.
No.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. That's come on.
Yep.
YouTube should be shamed for that.
Yeah. And you know what?
Fuck?
Eventually, at some point, a tweet about it reached Team YouTube on Twitter.
Good.
And they reversed it. So
Did they?
They did. That one they reversed.
That's ridiculous.
I have other ones. I mean, the How to Defeat Racism is no different.
But
and
just the fact that
still,
Human Review.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I should. Human Review normally happens like right away.
Forward it to BB.
Sorry.
What did they forward it to BB? And he's
like, he was the human.
This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable.
Yeah. What people don't understand is, maybe you got some people understand.
Right.
Is like, this goes way back to the beginning of social media. Like, when Facebook just started, Coldplay, they put up a video about peace between Israel and Palestine, and it got taken down. It got removed.
Yeah.
Coldplay, like the most non-offensive mayonnaise band on the history of music.
One of the most insipid bands ever.
I mean, seriously, like, just like not offensive in any way.
They have some good songs though.
They do. Like, they're for sure. But come on, Coldplay
or anybody like.
That's very bizarre. Oh, but like peace, like you can't, first of all, you can't talk about Israel. Like, that's not allowed. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that unless you're like praising Israel. And well, except on this channel, because we don't give a shit. And
I've
we
got
support
so
Palestinian rights.
That's good.
Yeah.
I've got so
Yeah.
many examples actually. I mean, I've got others like an MLK. So I did a video
I remember
about
that one.
it's called the Myth of Time, and it's just a good excerpt from an MLK speech. And I just overlaid some images of peaceful protests from the civil rights movement and DAPL. And that got demonetized and age restricted.
Nice.
So I mean,
Ugh,
and
YouTube
it's not,
sucks.
and I mean, there's an image of police like beating, like striking a protester a couple, like once, or like so two images, like one image in the civil rights era, one image is in the DAPL protests, and like, is that really too I mean, are you serious? Like,
Man, the
Well,
DAPL
order-
protests, the images from DAPL. Whew,
I mean,
I don't know
what
how
I'm
that
saying
didn't
is
set something off. I don't
water
know how that didn't set something off.
water cannons are quite phallic, so I can see the age restriction.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the
that's
fucked
true.
up thing is I see the same footage elsewhere on YouTube, and it's not.
Right.
There's no age restriction.
Oh, they're
on it.
very selective about it.
Yeah.
Like, they'll use Convo Couch's stuff on mainstream media, but then their stuff will be demonetized or whatever,
Yep.
or like algorithmically fucked with, or you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like they're
I've got an
constantly suppressed, and
that reminds me of another example. So I did a video about about Bernie Sanders, 5 amazing stories or whatever. And one of the sections is about his efforts to end the war in Yemen, or the US support of the war in Yemen. And I included clips. They're bloody clips, but I got them from CNN and MSNBC. And they're okay on there, but on my
not okay on
video,
yours.
it got my video was age restricted, demonetized, and some people can't share it.
Oh my God, it's almost like
It
narrative
doesn't even have a share
control.
button.
It's almost like narrative control.
Yeah,
It's almost like they're just trying to create reality for you.
It's really messed
Almost.
up. I
It
mean,
is.
I'll just one other recent one. So I got a couple that actually they say is hateful content. One is I had somebody on. So when QAnon got banned, I just had somebody on who he has a podcast where all he does is make fun of QAnon. And so I just had him on to discuss, like, I wanted to put forth the ideas, like, is it really, like, what's different about QAnon than other nutty groups, or to me, it's a religion, honestly. It's a
psyop.
cult. Yeah.
It's a psyop.
Whatever. Yeah. Or cultish type group. So but like we've said, KHive is similar. I've pointed out many similarities in my article, and
They have the same amount of letters too.
similar what?
Same amount of letters too.
So yeah, so anyway, so just me having that discussion, that was deemed hateful and demonetized. Hateful and offensive content couldn't be monetized. It confirmed by human review. So I mean, in nowhere was I advocating or defending any negative thing QAnon has done or is associated with. I was just simply talking about, I was just questioning. It's interesting that Twitter like called out by name this group, but they're not, there's plenty of other groups that do the same stuff.
Well, it's no different than like Russiagate. Why is it okay for them to push Russiagate for 5 years, completely evidence free, but it's not, QAnon's not okay? I don't see the difference. It's all of it's bullshit. So why is one group okay, but the other one's not okay?
Well, the other thing,
the Russiagate narrative is and has been a boon to Silicon Valley, because they're bedfellows with the national security state, and the national security state wants back into the Clinton, Bush Jr., Obama years when they were in their heyday, as I've said before. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing now. I don't think it gets much deeper than that. I mean, it's more complex than that. That's a kind of a reductionist or a small deconstruction, but I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing now.
Let me just clarify, because I don't want to I just want to make sure, super sure, I don't get it doesn't get misconstrued. We talking about, QAnon, but yeah, like, so apparently there were violations they done, but
Sure.
but they specifically got for them to get an announcement, like a specific call out, and removed like tens of thousands of accounts, I believe. Like, that's political to make that announcement. You know what I mean? Because you don't do that with every time that's done, or they don't do that. I mean, if they want to be consistent, they should, but they don't. And
no, it's everything's political.
yeah,
Everything that these people do is political.
And
It's
again,
for a reason.
I was seriously just asking questions. Not once did I defend any fucking thing about QAnon and its hateful content. It's labeled hateful content. Similarly, I promise I'll make this the last one. But there was an interesting school board, or it's not school board, education council, New York City Education Council, one district, had their Zoom call recorded, and in it, two white women accused another guy of racism for making a racist joke about his living room being integrated at some event that he hosted, some education event that he hosted. Because, well, first of all, that's not racist. Just, so what? You guys are talking about integration, and you make the comment, my living room's integrated right now because there's black people in there right now. Yeah.
I work as a freelance writer and copy editor, and I literally wrote a piece last night that used integrated and integration, I think twice.
You're racist.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jesse.
And they also, so in the same event, part of their other evidence was he had a black kid in his lap that he was babysitting. Is his friend's nephew. He got asked by his friend to babysit this kid, and he's just in his lap, and that's racist. Because he made the comment with the kid in his lap. That's really,
I really am tired of like the identity politics.
Yeah.
Hyperventilating over, really just nothing. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? It seems like people are making mountains out of molehills all over the place on some of this stuff. And it's, again, just a distraction. Like, obviously those are important issues. Like, all of those things are things that we're going to need to work out. But right now, y'all, we don't need to be hyperventilating over some stuff like that.
And I think it's important to say that and to point that out. And that's what this video was doing. I interviewed this guy, and we reviewed the video of the women accusing him of racism. And he schooled him. He freaking schooled him. And of course they get even more angry and angry. So, and that got called hateful content, and potentially offensive against marginalized communities. But here's the thing: the only people that would be offended by that was the privileged white women who were wrongly accusing a guy of racism. And that's not a marginalized group, is it?
No.
I mean,
Karen's? Karen's not marginalized.
Potentially offensive. Anything could be potentially offensive.
Yes.
Me just getting up and walking off the, screen
could be offensive.
Potentially offensive.
Rude of you to walk away from the camera.
Yeah, and also, I'm offended is not an argument of any kind.
No.
Because something hurts your feelings. That's not an argument.
That doesn't give you like any power. Like, that's not your superpower. I'm offended. Okay.
Unfortunately, but it is a superpower now. You will get people. Can get people fired. You can you can get YouTube videos taken down.
Yeah.
So
it's okay to disagree, and it's okay, but like, just you don't get to decide what other people are thinking. You don't, like, you just can't. And trying to force somebody to have an opinion is just going to make them reject your opinion. Like, people will come to logic naturally if you just chill out. Jesus Christ. I mean,
and we were talking about polarizing. This is how things get even more polarized, when you can't even see. When YouTube is literally suppressing content because they say it's hateful, but it's not. It's just discussing topics that are controversial. And that's the only way we can reverse this polarization is if we can see
Yeah,
an
you
opposing
have to be
viewpoint.
willing. Yes, you have to be willing to have difficult conversations with people you disagree with. That's part of being a grown up. Like that's, you can't expect to just like isolate yourself in your safe space and those people will go away. Those people that you don't like will just magically go away. And it really pisses me off. I'm going to go on a little rant here. This really pisses me off when white people of all people pretend like they're too good to go talk to other white people. Fuck off. That's your responsibility. This is our problem. And to say, oh, I'm not going to go deal with racists. Well, you fucking should. It's your responsibility as a white person. This is our problem. It's not on black people to do it. It's not on Mexican people to do it. It's not on Asian people to do it. It's our responsibility as fellow white people to go talk to other white people and try to work shit out. So quit coming at me like I'm some racist or I want to work with right wingers. No, I just know that that's my fucking problem that I need to go deal with. And I'm going to have conversations with people. And I'm not saying you have to go align with KKK members. Give me a fucking break. I'm so tired of that. There's a huge amount of space in between like your average conservative Democrat and literal KKK members. There's a lot of people in here that you could be having conversations with. And it's the height of privilege for white people to brush that off as if they're too good for that. Fuck off. That's your job. Go do it. Sorry, rant over.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I would encourage everybody to not be afraid to have, or give it a go. Just questions like go for it. Like, don't be afraid of these conversations. Don't give into fear. Understandable fear, knowing some of the results again, but don't give into it. Don't give into it.
No.
So, and I think I'm gonna drop a bombshell on you guys. Actually,
Yay! I like bombshells.
bombshell. This is a bombshell. Recent news. Since we were talking, you made up a great point, Jesse. Like, this is what YouTube's doing. This is increasing polarization, and YouTube CEO just got an award.
Oh yeah,
a free speech award. She just got a free speech award.
Freedom of Expression award that they vote, like they sponsored it, like it's their award they gave to themselves.
That's right. So it was a Freedom Forum Award sponsored by YouTube. And it goes
it's the best like self-flagellation I've ever seen. It's so ridiculous.
They don't obviously they don't deserve it in the first place, and to be
I'm gonna make up an award and give it to myself. What award should I give myself? I should give myself an award. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna think of it. I'm gonna think of one.
What does that even mean? A free speech award?
No, well, I think it's like a free expression award.
The way the title is the free expression award. But that's essentially a free speech award.
Right. Yeah. And YouTube is neither of those things. It's free expression or free speech, however you want to slice that.
No, and her defense is what you guys were saying, just saying like the idea, the safe spaces, like that doesn't encourage free speech. It doesn't. Now, you shouldn't have to fucking, talk to somebody if you don't want. No one's saying you have to talk to somebody you don't want to. But actually that is kind of what YouTube is doing. They're saying, this is content we shouldn't have. In her appearance and acceptance of this speech, she literally cited 4 R's. Okay. She's like, you got 4 R's for responsibility that I think really highlight our, what we've accomplished for free expression. The first R, you want to guess what the first R stands for?
Repression.
That's close. Removal.
Removal.
Remove is the first R. And she said, and this literally, it's so comedic. She brags. She's like, yeah, we've had millions of videos removed by machines. She fucking said that, accepting a free expression award. And it's because the whole logic is, that you have to protect, like, so it's not, free speech is not free speech anymore. Free expression is not free expression anymore. It's about protecting people from free expression that they don't want to see. So it's really this weird 1984 terminology talk.
Narrative control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and continuing to squeeze the parameters of what constitutes free
acceptable
speech
dialogue
farther and farther into the vice. the whole removal thing, it's like,
You can
well,
see it all over the country. There's an anti-protest bill in my state house right now. They're
but
all
it's
over the
like,
country.
trust us, we're removing it for
Yeah.
your own good. You wouldn't
Yeah,
want to
you
see
don't need
this.
you don't need to question us. It's fine. You don't need to
Yeah.
protest. You don't need the ability to speak out against us. You don't need the ability to share information. We're going to take care of everything. It's fine. Just we'll tell you the truth, and you just whatever we tell you, you believe that, and we'll just move along.
Yeah.
That's exactly where we're headed.
Yeah, and they
right
say
now.
they
And
really
that's what I
do
do.
say it's for their own good. That was like her words were, she wants to make it a place for good. But it's like, hold on, it shouldn't be the platform's job to decide what's good. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Now it's obviously, it makes sense for platforms, if you don't want a platform to be about pornography, sure, yeah, there is another platform for that. But if you want if your platform is about letting people express themselves, which what YouTube is supposed to be and was from the very beginning,
I mean, there are already free speech laws. You shouldn't be able to get on YouTube and threaten somebody's life. You shouldn't be able to get on YouTube and exploit somebody for money or whatever. Like there are already rules.
Well,
that
and if
protect-
you do, that's actually not okay. Go, and I encourage people to do that, because then you're just exposing yourself.
Right.
But now, and on that, YouTube has a rule. I don't know why. I haven't seen people talk about this, but I interviewed a guy who's a videographer, and he was covering protests, and he's at a protest where there were guns. And YouTube has a new rule where they do not allow live streams if it includes guns, if there are guns being carried in the live stream.
Yeah.
So just think about that.
Cops are now playing music at protests and stuff, because YouTube won't play licensed music. Like if you don't have the licensing fee, or you haven't paid the licensing fee for it, they won't. So then they'll shut down your live stream. Independent journalists who are going to protest to try to make sure that cops are being held accountable for their actions at protests and against peaceful protesters, they'll just play music that's licensed, and then YouTube can shut down your stream. I mean, the way that it's being used against us is apparent, and it's something that we need to be paying attention to, and not a lot of people are paying attention to it. And it's being used in like so many different aspects of our lives. I mean, YouTube is bad, but even like Patreon and like PayPal and stuff like that, like fundraising apps, like you can't like now they're saying you can't fundraise for like for activism. You can't. So like if you want to, crowdfund, like we did for Action for Assange, we crowdfunded so that we could help pay towards a little bit of like room and board for people who were going down to protest. And, it's like we weren't trying to raise like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but if we can get a little bit of money to help us do this and protect free speech, we were doing that. But it's really like they're trying to crack down on that, so you can't do that stuff anymore. They did that after the January 6th thing. It's like they've been pecking away at particularly the First Amendment, which is really the most important thing that we have, because it really does allow us to redress our government and speak up against corruption and greed and wrongdoing and criminality and war crimes and all of those things. And they've been chipping away at it for a long time. And over the past decade to 15 years, it's really ramped up hardcore. And again, just look around you at what's happening, all the censorship and all of the abuse that journalists are taking at protests, and look at what's happening to Julian Assange. For the love of God, he's been in Belmarsh, which is like the Guantanamo Bay of the UK. And he's a journalist, an intellect. He doesn't have any history of violence whatsoever. And he's in prison with literal terrorists. And, that's crazy. And he's being held there for no reason whatsoever. The judge ruled against extradition and he was still denied bail. So he's just being held there just for shits and giggles. That should be shocking to everybody. That should be, and again, but it's not. And that's why I don't have yes, he's being tortured. He's been being tortured for over a decade now. And that's not me. That's according to UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Nils Melzer. That's not me making shit up. That's what he said. So, but no, and it's weird because and that's why I don't have a lot of hope for humanity. If you can't even be bothered to pay attention to this, and people make it like it's about, like they'll say that I'm a Julian Assange, like I'm a cultist, like I'm obsessed with him. No, fuckers, I'm going to save the First Amendment. Like, do you not understand how important this is? It's not about him. It's never been, and I've always said that, it's never been about him. His life is absolutely worth saving. And as a person, me personally, I have a lot of respect for the work that he's done. but I don't worship him. But yeah, I would really like to keep my First Amendment rights. Like I would really like to do that. And it's weird to me that there are people out there who don't want to, or who don't see like it's worth fighting for. That's very strange for me.
If they don't see it, they don't see it. That shouldn't dissuade you at all.
It doesn't, obviously.
Obviously, you don't worship him.
No.
You just do a lot of hard, great work for standing in solidarity with him and trying to get him the fuck out of the hellhole that he's in.
Yeah, it's because the media has done a great job of assassinating his character. And so that's all anybody is, or not anybody, but unfortunately most people are familiar with, is just the character attacks.
Either they've never heard of him at all because they don't cover him ever, or if they have heard of him, they have a negative. They can't really remember what they heard about him, but they don't like him, and they think it had something to do with like some kind of sexual harassment or something like that. Like usually it's just like very vague. I kind of know who he is. I've heard his name, but yeah, that's usually what I get. And it's, that's by design too. That is by design too. You know, the decade-long propaganda campaign against that one human being is really something to behold if you go back and look at it.
Yeah, I'd like to make a video just about that, but
you should.
I've started like organizing one, but I've got so many projects I'm juggling.
I have so many video ideas. If you ever need, like, if you run out of an idea, if you need an idea, seriously, I'm not good at that shit, but I have like so much stuff in my brain, especially it's not, I should have asked you to make this. Okay. So sorry, gonna go off on a little tangent here. But so the collateral murder video, I would like very much to get like a video of, you don't have to show their faces, but 2 little kids playing with like a setup that looks similar to collateral murder, and then play the collateral murder audio behind it. So that, the juxtaposition of having like 2 innocent little kids looking up to our military, playing as they're committing war crimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that would be really powerful. Somebody needs to make that video. I've been asking people forever and nobody will do it. So I'll ask you.
It's a good idea.
You don't even have to give me credit for the idea. Just make it. It'll be good. Good stuff. Yeah.
That's for anybody who's a cinematographer with a couple kids, whoever's listening. If you got a camera and a couple kids,
or find some kids to like rent.
That's on you. Yeah.
If you want your kid's first acting gig to be
that's or a war crime video.
A war crime victim. Do we have the role for you?
Yeah.
They won't know what it is. They'll just be playing with a helicopter and a little van, and they won't even hear the audio. Like, we can put that later, but seriously, I think that would be really powerful, because we really do teach our kids to like worship the military, and they're good, and they are, brave and strong, and they do good things. And then to have that juxtaposed to the audio in the background of literal war crimes being committed. I think that's, something that would make people think a little bit about the culture in the military. It's not great. So anyways, we've had you for a really long time. I'm sorry. We tend to do this and talk a lot.
It hasn't been a problem.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Because sometimes I feel bad because we like a couple hours in, I'm like, I'm sorry, you probably have a life. We don't. So yeah, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you? Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff, so they can keep up with your work?
Sure. Yeah. Twitter at 0RF, Orf with a 0. And then, yes, I'm on this. I don't know if you heard of it, but I am on the site called YouTube, youtube.com/Orf, ORF. And really, if you could go to patreon.com/Orf, I'd really appreciate it, because I could use
support independent media. However you are able, go forth and do it. And anybody, whoever you like, you don't have to, whoever, I don't care. I really don't, but we just need to support independent media.
I do.
I'll give you lists.
Make me one.
Make Orf one of them. That's fine. I'm down with that. But I don't care personally. Just go support independent media. So thank you again for coming on. It was fun to talk a little bit of Twitter drama. It is what it is. I don't know if we're ever going to get rid of these people, but and thanks everybody for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you, Misty and Jesse.
Thank you, Matt.